What's going on, everyone? Evan and Jordan here from BattleHawk Armory, and we are out at the range today with some suppressors. So what we have in front of us is three of probably the most popular and highest performing suppressors on the market right now. So what we have is the tried and true HUXWRX Flow 556K, along with the ever popular Otter Creek Labs Polonium K and full-size Polonium. Now, Jordan, why are these three suppressors so popular today?
Well, they both kind of strike different niches, right? The HUXWRX on one hand is very compact, flow through. While it does do a good job of sound reduction, it does lose a little bit using that flow through technology. Obviously, if you vent gases, you're going to get more gas coming out, which is going to leave more sound. Whereas the Polonium is really a powerhouse for how much it costs versus how well it performs. I mean, this is almost the go-to recommendation for the guy looking for his first 556 suppressor every single time. At least point him at the Polonium because it is a phenomenal suppressor in many ways. But the only thing you're trading off is that little bit of technology flair that HUXWRX puts on theirs.
Yeah, and realistically, just like many things in life, nothing is free when it comes to suppressors. So as Jordan mentioned, when you have something as high performing as the Flow that has an advertised 1% increase in back pressure, you're going to lose out on some sound performance. The Flows are over $1,000, whereas the Otter Creek Labs Polonium and Polonium K are around $550 today. So they're about half the price, but for a lot of applications, they're actually better suppressors because, again, nothing is free in suppressors. They're actually extremely quiet suppressors. So what we're going to do today is we are actually going to have two different rifles. We have a Stag 3-gun. This is a 16-inch barrel, as long as a Patriot Ordnance Factory Minuteman with a 16-inch barrel as well, that we'll try these suppressors on and see what the sound performance, back pressure, things like that looks like, so that hopefully you can kind of get a better understanding of what all of these three suppressors bring to the table, the pros and cons of each, and which one might truly be the best suppressor for you. All right, so I have the HUXWRX Flow 556K mounted up on this Stag 3-gun. Again, 16-inch barrel. This is a direct impingement AR-15 with a non-adjustable gas block, which is where something like this HUXWRX Flow really shines, since it is advertised at 1% increase in back pressure. I have some Fiocchi 223 Alpha 55 grain ammo loaded up. We'll just go ahead and shoot 5 slow rounds and see how this suppressor sounds, and we'll speed it up a little bit. All right, so there are 5 nice and slow, and we'll do 5 a little bit quicker. Looks like we did pick up all 5 shots, so we'll use the shot timer kind of as a measuring device as well. And took 6 shots that time, but picked them all up. Not noticing any gas whatsoever back to the face. This rifle feels great, not really running super hard or anything like that, which is definitely a consideration when you're throwing a suppressor on a direct impingement AR-15 like this Stag 3-gun that does not have an adjustable gas block.
Yeah, I'm also not noticing any gas at all on this DI gun with a fixed gas block, so that's pretty impressive.
All right, so up next, I have the Patriot Ordnance Factory Minuteman with the Otter Creek Labs Polonium K. So this is the shorter of the two Otter Creek Labs suppressors. We have it mounted up to this 16-inch barrel with a rugged universal mount. Now, of note, this is an adjustable gas block that we've installed on here. It's one of the JP Enterprises ones. We have this rifle tuned for this suppressor, so it should work just fine. Should be a little bit lower back pressure, which is definitely something that you're going to want to have on a conventionally manufactured higher back pressure suppressor like this Polonium K. All right, so I'm not necessarily noticing any gas right off the bat, but I can certainly see it coming out the ejection port to a significantly greater degree. Still picked up all 6 shots on the shot timer here. We'll speed it up a little bit. All 5 shots on the shot timer. All right, so shooting a little bit more brisk, I definitely do notice a little bit of gas to the face, a little bit of sediment to the face. It's still not unpleasant. to be expected even with an adjustable gas block on a DI rifle like this POF, even though we do have an adjustable gas block. We'll have Jordan give it a go, see what he thinks.
The gas isn't as bad, it's not bothering me, but I could definitely see it blasting across my face as I'm firing. The adjustable gas block does a pretty good job of mitigating that to some degree, but I imagine we're probably going to see even more gas on the Polonium full size.
Yep, I can already feel some sediment coming off of the ejection port kind of into my face. So it's definitely higher back pressure. However, the shot timer is now not picking up any shots whatsoever. So this is a significantly quieter suppressor, the full-size Polonium. None of that exactly surprising, but interesting to see it here in testing. Yeah, there's tons of gas coming out of the ejection port. Again, no shots picked up on the timer. Definitely a more effective suppressor, but we'll go ahead and have Jordan give it a try.
I didn't pick up any of those shots. So the size difference between the Polonium K and the Polonium full size is really not all that much, but the amount of suppression seems to be pretty significant, and also the amount of back pressure as well.
All right, so we just kind of wrapped up shooting here for the day, shooting these 3 different suppressors on these 2 different 16-inch 5.56 rifles. So Jordan, what were some of the things that you kind of experienced running through these different suppressors today?
You know, like we kind of predicted, the low back pressure HUXWRX did a very good job of minimizing the gas coming out of the chamber, and is a little bit more pleasurable to shoot in that aspect, but is a little bit louder. Like the Polonium we just threw on up at the 100-yard here, phenomenal. Like the sound suppression you get out of that can, and especially for the price it's at, is crazy.
Yeah.
Probably one of our favorite cans. I'm probably going to own one at some point. I don't currently, but I need one. And then the Polonium K is just its little brother. You get a little bit less gas back, obviously, because it's less baffles, less back pressure, and a little bit less suppression, but still does a very good job in a little bit more of a compact package.
Yeah, and you know, the thing here, we did lots of different shooting today. So we did a little bit of slow fire up close. We did a little bit of, you know, distance shooting. The big thing with suppressors is really this signature reduction. So with the cameras down range, shooting a little bit farther, hopefully you'll get a little bit better understanding what that signature reduction looks like. So while something like the HUXWRX Flow 5.56K really does reduce the negative attributes of shooting suppressed at the actual operator, it does have a higher signature from downrange just due to the fact that it's expelling more of those gases out the front of the suppressor. Where something like the Polonium, being a full-size suppressor, since it is a gassier suppressor, while it does do a very good job of reducing the actual report as far as signature goes, you do get a lot of blowback out of the action. So we almost kind of have the same signature as far as, you know, a visual signature from downrange that we do with the Flow suppressor. Meanwhile, something like the Polonium K, being an intermediate size, really with the POF being actually tuned for that individual suppressor, we're reducing not just the report, but also the gas and flash and things like that. So really, what all of this goes to show is that people come in all the time and they want to know, hey, what is the best suppressor? Do you really think there is one, Jordan?
No. They all have their own role, I think. for instance, like the HUXWRX Flow would be great at an indoor match, running a rifle for a 3-gun type shooting, because you don't really need the signature reduction in that case, but it would be more beneficial to lose the gas out of your face, especially indoors. Whereas the signature reduction would be a lot more applicable in like a hunting scenario, I guess.
Yeah, really what it boils down to is what do you want the suppressor to do for you? There is probably a best suppressor for your application, but again, kind of weeding back to what we talked about at the very beginning of this, they all have pros and cons. Nothing is free in terms of suppression. So we definitely noticed the HUXWRX Flow, very low back pressure, really pleasant to shoot as the operator. Meanwhile, the Polonium, the full-size Polonium, we were all blown away at how amazingly quiet it was at the actual firearm. But as the person shooting it, you're getting so much blowback out of the action, even with an adjustable gas block, that, you know, hey, maybe it's not the best suppressor for a 16-inch direct gas impingement AR-15, if that's a consideration. But if you're shooting, you know, out in the field, if you're hunting low volume, or especially if you're, you know, in a 223 or 6mm bolt gun, perhaps that is the best suppressor. So it's a sliding scale, it's a spectrum. We have things with extremely low back pressure but a little bit louder, extremely quiet, heavier back pressure, and then we have things in the middle, and they come at all different price points, materials, methods of attachment, but this was a pretty good test of kind of the different extremes of the spectrum and what shooting suppressed actually does for you.
And like you said, it is a test. We don't have like a decibel reader or anything like that. We're not going to give you any numbers. What we're hoping to portray here is kind of give a picture of what this actually looks like at the range, downrange, and from the shooter's standpoint, which is really how you experience a suppressor when shooting. So I hope this has helped, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you here shortly.